Good afternoon, everybody. I hope this isn't going to be too dark. I'm using natural light again, but unfortunately, it's kind of cloudy out. In fact, it just started to rain like a drizzle. But welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. So, this week I worked on, did I spell that right? Yes. This week I worked on craft patterns. And I decided to pull out anything I found that was like a bunny because I thought this is a good time if you wanted to make an Easter bunny for a child or for whatever, for decoration. This is a good time to start. Wow. Are there a lot of bunny patterns? Like, I was really surprised. It started to feel almost like a cult. Yes, I'm still sick. They're almost all from the 90s. And it's interesting, they're either called bunnies or rabbits, but none of them are called hares, but they're all the ones with the long ears. And those are actually called a well, there's one variety of that rabbit called a Belgian lop-eared hare, which is an eating rabbit. I know, we're not going to talk about it. For some people, they can't deal with that. My family, my one grandmother was French, so we ate rabbit as a kid. It was what it was. So anyway, let's dive in right away. I'm going to start with stuff I found in patterns. So this week, in one of the patterns, I found another pattern. So this is See and Sew 5357. And I went out online and I looked it up, and it's actually a Cabbage Patch doll clothing pattern. And it was shoved into one of these doll patterns, right? So obviously it's actually the entire doll pattern. What's missing is the envelope and the instructions. So that was kind of interesting that somebody was working on a doll pattern, I'm assuming doll clothes pattern, and shoved another doll clothes pattern in there. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So I also want to talk about the stuff that I found this week. We'll talk about the patterns in a minute, but I wanted to talk about this other stuff. Okay, so when I was in Goodwill, I found it was basically packaged like this, right? It was just like all put together like this with some tape. And it was $4.99, but it was half price because it was a yellow tag. So I took a chance on it, and it ended up being, and I remember this. I don't know if anybody else remembers this kind of craft, but technically it's crochet, but you add buttons to it. So let me show you some of the action shots from inside. And I actually had something, I think I had a necklace and a bracelet in this style back in the 90s. Yeah, it went with a vest, right? And then the other thing I found were these. So we had these two, which are, as far as I can tell, no name. They just say fashion collars. I'm assuming they're probably made in China, but they're nice. Put them up online. And then there was this. And if you look, can you see that? Daisy Kingdom. Yeah, this is Daisy Kingdom. So I looked these up, and I was surprised how much these went for. Because well, I shouldn't say I'm surprised, because everything Daisy Kingdom is like kind of expensive. But when I was looking, there's apparently like all these different styles. Like this one is Venice. They had like all these different styles. So this is the Venice. Sorry. I'm having a hard time with the dyslexia recently. And so I put them up online, and yeah. All right. So let's dive right into it, because this is interesting. So you would think most of these patterns, these bunny patterns, would be, I don't know. They're all rabbits dressed as people, but they get really weird. Oh, there was this one. Actually, I threw this one in there. I thought it was a bunny pattern, but it wasn't. It is a cat, bride, and groom, and the attendees are mice, which is so odd. In fact, are the dolls even on here? Yeah, the dolls are on here. Yeah. I thought that was super weird. These are all super weird. I have to tell you, they all are. I threw this one in because I thought, remember these country kid things? I don't know. Does anybody else remember these? You used to, people used to stand them against the wall. Totally weird also. Here we go. Here's the beginning of the end of the bunny. So tons and tons of these by this woman and Faith Van Zenten and a woman named Faye Wine. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out if you guys can. There we go. That's better. And you just posed them. You just put them in your house, I guess. But it is weird. It felt almost cultish after a while. They're all dressed as children. Again, kind of a weird thing. And it's just strange because look, we're just going to go on and on. This entire show, unfortunately, is going to be me showing you patterns that are bunnies dressed as small children. And it's just such a weird, it's so weird, right? I mean, it's just weird. Oh, speaking of Daisy Kingdom, look, there we go. More Daisy Kingdom. So yeah, Daisy Kingdom really had the market corner because I've sold aprons, little girl's dress. Now I got a lace collar. This is a pattern for bunnies. And I also have a pattern for like a nursery set, quilt set. These are the autumnal bunnies. This was interesting. The label on this, actually, on the back, it says boy bunnies, but I put them in as sports bunnies, I think, because, it's basically boy bunnies playing sports. Here we go, more. These are almost all, everything is up online at this point, if you're interested in any of these. Okay, this is where it gets weird. We have Easter bunnies, but we also have cowboy bunnies. And we have, I guess these are also, these to me look like almost like patriotic bunnies, maybe. Patriotic bunnies. Not sure. And more. Bunnies dressed as basically babies, children. Oh. So many bunnies. This one, actually, you can do a bunny or a regular rag doll. The clothes are always included. Most of these, the clothes are always included. Sometimes, all right, this one, you can put wings on the bunnies, I guess bunny angels, or you can make a rag doll with wings, I guess a regular angel. And then here's a trigger warning. You can do clown bunnies. Yeah. Because having little like bunny things everywhere wasn't enough. You can also do them as clowns. And then, okay, on the bottom there, they are just regular ones, but yeah. And keep in mind, everybody, Simplicity, Butterick, McCall's, everybody made bunny patterns. I got to tell you guys, like I said, these are all from the 90s. I don't remember this trend. I remember the teddy bears sitting in chairs looking at you with their cold, dead eyes, but not the bunnies. And they seem to all have this country theme. Oh, this doesn't have any, this has no line drawings on the back. And then we have bunnies with their friends, in case you wanted a stuffed cat or a stuffed, I guess that's a goose. Could be a duck. Also no line drawings on that. Love and Stuff. I've had Love and Stuff before. These are weird because these almost look like Well, I mean, they kind of look like mice, but they say that they're bunnies. So then we have these. This is interesting because I saw this and thought, is this a touchy subject? But honestly, these are Amish dolls. If any of you are from Pennsylvania, you understand the Amish, you know that these are Amish folk dolls. Like, I think they're calling these folk dolls. Yeah, they are. But Amish folk dolls don't have any faces. Can you see how? Oh, actually, some of these do have faces, but like this one doesn't. That's a very Amish thing. They have a thing about graven images. Oh, yeah. And, after that quick break, we're back to bunnies. And these McCall's ones, none of them have line drawings on the back. And then this was the most Easter looking of all of them. And these were called the garden bunnies or something like that. They had a really weird name. And again, more bunnies. And no line drawings on the back of these, sorry. I should have told you guys that, but there's no line drawings on the back of them because they're McCall's. Then we also had some other stuff. All right, so we had this stuff. And after there were two of these, and I kept looking at this pattern thinking, this pattern looks so familiar to me. Well, yeah, it's because I already have it, but it's got a completely different number assigned to it. So I now have 3 of them. If anybody's looking for three patterns where you can make, what is it? A pig. All right, so a stuffed pig, a stuffed chicken, and I guess that's a duck. Not sure. All right, so when I went to Goodwill this week, I found 2 patterns along with 2 of the Singer sewing guides in a package, and it was for slip covers and drapes. I already put them in with my vintage Singer sewing guides because I have a bunch of the other ones like zippers and sleeves and stuff. I don't know how many are in this set, but I must be close to getting the whole set. Anyway, so what I did find was this. This was partially cut, but still in really good shape. And it's the car. We would call this a car seat cover, but this is more like one of those. Remember the bouncy chairs they used to have for the kids? I mean, they probably don't make them anymore, right? Because they were probably dangerous or something. And then there was this, and this is a tote that when you open up the tote, you can use it as a changing mat. And unfortunately, no line drawings on this. It was partially cut. This had been cut, but it was in really good shape. The person had really taken care of it. So in there was also this, which in spite of the fact that this isn't in such great shape, this pattern was never used and still had this pattern for Raggedy Ann and Andy comes with blue transfers that you iron on to do the embroidery for the face. And this does actually have line drawings, so that's great. But I was shocked because when I saw it, I immediately thought it was cut because it was a little banged up, but it was not. So because I put that one up online, I went and I pulled out some more Raggedy Ann and Andy patterns that I had. And these are up online. And it doesn't have a line drawing because it's McCall's. And this one. And this one looks so similar. I mean, look at the line drawings, right? But according to this one, does this one, yeah, see? But this one is multi-sized. That one is not. It only makes the large dolls. So kind of an odd thing, but I'm going to have to double check these and make sure that these are not. No, see the alternative number on this one is 2447. That's another thing. I had to check like pretty much all these patterns because they have more than one number. They have a 4-digit number and a 3-digit number. I'm not sure why these companies do that, but they do. And then to finish up, I decided to just throw in a couple more of like my one-off unusual patterns. And I've had this pattern for a while. They're just they're vintage Mickey and Minnie dolls. No line drawings. And they're just stuffed dolls. So but the interesting thing is they have the Walt Disney Company on them. So this must be a Walt Disney product. Let's see what the age is on this. Oh, I can't even see that. It's so small. But I don't know, because I don't remember them teaming up with Simplicity at any time, but I guess they did. And last but not least, look who it is. So I already had this and sold it. This one is partially cut. The only thing that was cut was, this outfit. Oh gosh, it's so hard to do this. This outfit here, the long sleeve kind of librarian looking outfit. But interestingly, they never cut the doll and they never cut out the transfers. This doll has transfers for the facial features. Sorry, guys. And they're the blue ink transfers, kind of like the other dolls have. And there's the line drawings on the back. This is from like 1973. So I put it up there as a partially cut pattern. This pattern uncut, and I don't remember what I sold mine for, is going for like 20 bucks. So I may have sold mine for 20 bucks, but I don't think I did. But I was laughing because we were commenting about how Holly Hobby always appeared like this, right? We never saw her face, which was kind of shady, but she actually did have a face because I have the blue transfers to prove it. But that was it for my week. It was a tough week for me. I was sick all week. It was not good. I actually had to call out on Friday because that coughing you hear, imagine that like 100 times more. I couldn't stop coughing. I had no voice whatsoever. In fact, I'm starting to lose my voice already. You can hear it getting deeper. I had no voice. I couldn't stop coughing. It was horrible. And I'm using a cough syrup, but it's not really, it's over the counter. It's, But here are my plans for next week. In the same theme of preparing for Easter, I had a small box that was children's patterns, cut and uncut, mostly uncut, from Mrs. Landis that I think I told you guys about these. When I moved my patterns, somehow these patterns they had never been gone through, and somehow they ended up in a box. And I thought that they were patterns that could be filed, and they weren't. I had never done anything with them. So I grabbed those. When I got that, the Etsy purchase I did of the patterns, like we just finished them up last week, there were some children's patterns in there. So those are thrown in there. There's a couple more Mrs. Landis patterns that I grabbed at some point in time. They're thrown in there. I'm going to do those this coming week because I feel like if I'm going to be able to sell girls' patterns, because the majority of these are girls, like little dress patterns and things like that, it's going to be now. It's going to be before Easter. Same with the bunny patterns. It's like, when do you sell bunny decor patterns? You sell them before Easter. So I'm trying to get those up online before Easter. And then I'm going to go back to the craft patterns that I think I'm going to pretty much concentrate on doll clothes, because I have a lot. I have a lot of Barbie stuff. Yeah, ton of Barbie. So I'm going to get the Barbie stuff up. And then I have more of the Cabbage Patch. Like this, except they're in their envelopes with their directions, and they're for the dolls and they're for the doll clothes. So that's what the next couple of weeks are going to look like. So that was it for me today. I know that was a very short video, right? It's only like 20 minutes, but my throat's starting to go. I can feel it. So until next week, please like, subscribe, comment. Thank you for stopping by. I hope wherever you guys are that you're healthy and things are going well. And until next week, have a great week. Stay well. And I will see you on Tuesday.